This is the world's heaviest baseball bat.
How'd you guys make this?
Is it freaking cement?
Clocking in at over twice the weight of our previous record holder.
I made it because, as everybody knows, a more powerful bat means a more powerful swing. Or maybe I just made it because I have nothing better to do with my time and I enjoy breaking records in a category between me and literally no one else. This build process required skills I gained from previous heavy object videos, as well as a few new ones I gained along the way. What was supposed to take 1 week ended up taking 3. No! That's why I haven't uploaded in a month, and that's why I need you to watch the whole video so I can get that sweet YouTube money. And then when you're done, watch it again for good measure. I don't even care if you pay attention. Anyways, this was a really challenging process. Doing a casting of this size is difficult enough, but doing it with exotic metals like bismuth, zinc, and tungsten pushed my skills to the absolute limit. However, the end result was definitely worth it.
This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. The first step is to get a mold, but you can't just walk into a Walmart and buy one. So I went and got the scrap wood from the new Waterjet delivery and started putting my superior carpentry skills to work. Because the bat will be so heavy, the mold needs to be robust. I'll call her Brenda's mom. Now I need to cut all the wood down. The only problem is I lost all my real saw blades in the move, leaving me no choice but to use the triangle saw blade from our dangerous saw blades video. We do have a brand new Waterjet that will work nicely to cut these plywood pieces down to size. Just look how clean she is, and how clean she cuts. We'll definitely need a new name for this new jet. I'm thinking Large Marge the Barge, but let me know what you think about that. I'll screw all those together, then clean it up with Large Marge's help. The finished mold was so heavy that I couldn't pick it up, so I had to use my ballroom dancing expertise. And before she knew it, Brenda's mom had floated across the floor. Chances are you've seen those videos where they make something out of styrofoam, pack sand around it, and then pour molten metal in, and it makes a perfect metal replacement of what they made out of styrofoam. So I'm going to do exactly that, and it's going to be really easy, and there aren't going to be any problems. I didn't have a baseball bat sized piece of styrofoam, so I had an amazing idea that involves something truly great. This is insulation foam, and it will form into any shape I want it to, but first it needs to be shaken well. The best part about this stuff is that it's really satisfying to watch, especially if you speed up the footage. The next day, it's also really satisfying to clean up. This is where the fun begins, but first we have to mount this onto something so it'll actually spin. And there it is. That definitely moved because it took me like 4 hours to set this up. Then it was time to test my setup.
Oh dear. That is not centered. In fact, the whole thing is bent. But it might be okay.
Now I'll make the outline of a baseball bat in AutoCAD, but I'll give it the Pixar mom treatment so it's extra thick when we're done. If you've been around our channel for a while, you'll know we're about to use the Waterjet like a lathe. This is simultaneously the most perfect way to shape something, and the most cursed way to shape something. Let's hope it's more of the former and less of the latter. Weighing down the drill helps a lot to steady it, but enough yapping, let's start cutting. Even if it's slightly off-centered, it will still balance out when the material is removed, so a little wobble is okay. That's what I told your mom. Despite trying to only take a little foam off, it went way too deep because you kind of just have to eyeball it to line it up. Let's give this another go after a quick Doug break.
Hi, Doug. Hi. Hi.
Oh, I peed a little again.
Oh.
This time I'll put the rod in before the foam so it's perfectly centered.
Kind of weird how it grew up instead of going out or doing other things. Just like me, I grew up instead of going out.
Okay, it works this time, I promise. The cardboard tube's diameter was a little smaller than the file, so I'll just do this last part by hand with the Waterjet. As in, I'm controlling the Waterjet by hand.
What was so weird is that it covered everything in this cardboard poo. Like, look at that.
I'll fill in a few of the gaps, and then we can put it in our mold and pack the sand around it. Now we need to get the tungsten and bismuth for the bat, but it's hiding inside another one of my cursed creations, the world's heaviest bowling ball. This thing packs a punch, and it actually turned out really well. So I'm a little sad to have to do this, but we need that precious tungsten. The bowling ball is taller than Large Marge's maximum height, so I have to do this in a few different cuts. After cutting it all the way around, it still didn't want to come apart, so I put on my sus protective gear and started hammering. A few good swings of the hammer and I split on that thing.
Yes!
The bismuth didn't want to come out, so I brought my more persuasive friend.
I can't believe that worked.
I did the same thing on the other half, and then I had my precious bismuth and tungsten. Bismuth has a relatively low melting point of just 520 degrees, so I just put it on a pot on the stove and covered it with ceramic insulation. Don't try this at home, kids. A little while later, it was all melted. I'll pull out the tungsten rods, get rid of the slag, then I'll carry it over to the mold and get on this chair, which isn't sketchy at all, by the way, and start pouring.
Please don't explode in my face.
It's not melting the foam the way I'd like, so I stop pouring and I'll get the bismuth a bit hotter.
It doesn't want to go down.
It still wasn't melting the foam, so I poured it out to avoid it hardening in the mold.
Well, it looks like it all spilled out and now it's running down the sidewalk.
You know, I would love if just once one of my projects went according to plan. Then I decided to use the kiln to get the bismuth red hot. But all you need to know is that we don't have the power requirements for the kiln in our new shop, so it only got a little over 1,000 degrees. I tried pouring it anyways, and it still didn't work. And then I had a realization and decided to do a little test. Even though this great stuff is great, it isn't, however, great at melting. Probably because it's meant to be fire resistant. So I took the great stuff baseball bat out and was really sad because it took a ton of days to get to this point, and I thought I was almost done, but now I have to start all over. Luckily for you, video editing exists, and you don't have to suffer through making a styrofoam bat like I did. But watch this cool trick. A little hand sanding to get it all nice and smooth, and we're ready to put it in the casting sand. Then I cleaned it up around the pouring area. That's 12:16 as in midnight, not noon by the way. And then I was ready to pour. I was nervous because this is a step where it can all go wrong, and I was tired, so if I was going to mess something up, it was going to be now. But that wasn't going to stop me. So anyways, I started pouring.
Bombs away! Oh, it's working like a charm!
I'll add a little bit of bismuth, then start adding the tungsten bits one by one because I want to make sure they settle in nicely. I finished one pot with no problem, so I moved on to the other one. I started pouring just the same as I did the first time, but something not so good was going on unbeknownst to me.
Oh, how is this happening?
The bismuth started leaking out the bottom of the mold. I was standing on the other side, so I couldn't see it, so I just kept putting the tungsten bits in like it was all fine and dandy. Then when I was done, I found it. At this point, it was 2 a.m. and I just wanted to go to bed, so that's exactly what I did. The next day, I assessed the damage and repaired it. Then I poured back in the bismuth that had leaked out. But it was clear that I didn't have nearly enough bismuth, so I had another idea which involves defrauding the United States government.
I'm laughing all the way out of the bank.
I feel like Ebenezer Scrooge. On my knees are toys.
But my lawyer said it should probably be okay. I didn't want to accidentally throw away $1 million penny, so we went through them real quick and found nothing.
Alright, let's go throw this in the kiln, eh? Ugh, that's heavy.
Just as I had hoped. Funny story, the girl at the bank bringing him out to me put him on a rolling chair because they were too heavy to move around, which is a good thing.
And this is a little more than half.
I didn't film putting them in, but here's me pulling them out in reverse. I thought this was neat. This is how the pennies looked when they were hot but not melted. After more time in the kiln, they had melted even though they didn't look like it because the slag was in the perfect shape of the pennies. The kiln wasn't hot enough to melt the copper, so the zinc insides melted out, leaving the copper shells floating on top. As I pour it, you can see the chunky texture this zinc has on the top, but not underneath. I think that's an oxidation layer because it reformed so fast when I skimmed it. But I might be wrong. Also, listen to the noise it makes as I pour. Very satisfying. Another batch down the hatch, and a little bit more, and our bat mold is filled. The next day, I put my ballet to good use again with my lovely partner, Brenda's mom, who put on a few pounds since the last time I danced with her. I had to lay her down, then I removed the front face screws and started digging the bat out.
Oh my goodness! Ah! That is so heavy!
Then disaster struck.
That's all my strength! Holy crap! It broke!
We have a weakness.
But we can fix it.
That's insane how heavy that is. That's way heavier than I thought it would be. Holy crap.
I'll use this wire brush to clean off the sand so we can get a better view of what's going on. Then use compressed air to get the tough spots. I probably should have just started with compressed air, but that's okay. Then I'll remove any tungsten bits that are sticking out because not even the Waterjet can easily remove those. They're literally made to not be worn down. To seal it back together, I'll take the bismuth that broke off and melt it with a torch over the gap. I don't have enough to completely fill it with bismuth, so I'll put the tungsten bits back in and melt more bismuth on top of those. Once it's cool, I'll mix up some 5-minute epoxy and fill in all the gaps with that. Now that it's cured, I'll fill in some gaps and add a little bit more weight by using some unmelted pennies because I think it's funny. Then I'll take an angle grinder to all the weird fins and other rough parts and some of the pennies I just added to make our bat a little prettier. Then I enlisted old Marge's help to get the extra metal off the bottom.
Oh, what a beautiful cut.
Then I cleaned that up just a little. Now for the reinforcement of this bat. I'm going to cut fiberglass strips for 3 sections of the bat and apply it.
Now some of you may know that fiberglass is really hard to work with, so enjoy this segment of me struggling with it.
I'll mix up this resin, and now the clock is ticking because this resin isn't meant to sit in the cup after it's mixed. Then I'll microwave it so I have even less time to work with it. But it also makes the applying process a lot easier, so you win some, you lose some. I also lost the paint brushes in the move, so I'll spread it out by hand and hope the resin gets into the fiberglass like it should. I'll keep adding resin and rolling this up like the world's heaviest burrito. I want lots of layers so it's strong enough to resist impacts. Once it's mostly dry, it's looking really good, but I'm still worried about the part that broke, so I'm going to drill out a hole in the fiberglass and add some more resin to make sure there isn't any room for failure here. Then I let it dry and came back to remove it from our Northrop Grumman table. The fiberglass turned out great, but needs a little cleaning up before the next step. My automotive friends might know what this is. Bondo. But I had to be careful with it.
Prolonged or repeated overexposure may affect the hearing. What? I'm in the thick of it. Oh.
I've actually never used Bondo before, but I graduated from Chris Fix University, so I should be fine. I'll mix it up real good, then start spreading it over the parts of the bat that have holes in them. Then I just started covering the whole thing because, let's be honest, it needed it. I started hand sanding it, and that was taking forever, so I switched to a power sander, and that actually worked. Go figure. I'm loving how this is looking, but I didn't come this far to have an unfinished looking bat, so I took it to the paint booth and got it all set up. I'll start with a few light coats of primer, then run out of that primer and switch to another kind that is infinitely worse and will cause me problems. Then I'll switch to a third primer and try to fix those problems. Then I'll take a Doug break from all that exhaustive priming, and because it needs to dry.
Doug, puff, puff, pass. My turn.
Now I'm ready to paint it. I want a color that lets people know the kind of bat they're dealing with. The stupid kind. The bat's almost done, but we need a good name, so we better go bother Alex.
Now a bat of this sheer stature needs a name befitting, so we've come to the plotter. Sounds like Galaga.
We'll cut it out, and then carefully remove the stencil from the letters and put it on the bat. Gotta be careful with the floating parts of the letters. The penultimate step is to spray the letters with another color that contrasts against the teal. The orange is overpowered by the aquamarine, so it takes a lot of coats to completely cover it, but we got there eventually. Now we'll remove the stencil, and this is gonna look so good. I meant to say, now we'll peel off the letters, and this is gonna look so good. Thank goodness the bat is done. That was literally 3.5 weeks of pain. This thing is over 2 times heavier than our previous heavy bat. That's 27 times heavier than a normal baseball bat, or roughly the weight of a full-size Australian Shepherd. So I went to Mark Rober's favorite school to get some public reactions.
Here's a fun little story. When I got home and was taking this out of my car, I pulled the tendons in my hand. That's the kind of weight we're dealing with here. This is a workout just getting there. Oh my gosh, my traps are actually so sore. I'm feeling like I just got Brenda'd out of my mind. You wanna try?
I'm alright.
Oh no, it'll take 30 seconds. All right, no, come here. You look like a strong guy. We got the world's heaviest baseball bat. You gotta guess the weight. This is my boy Luke.
I'm gonna guess 53.
Oh, you're close.
I can bunt this.
All right, bunt that bad boy. All right, step right up and guess the weight of the world's heaviest baseball bat.
I would say it's 47 pounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would say like 43.
Okay. It made like a dent in the ground.
Pick it up and give it a swing. Give what a swing?
The bat.
What the?
Is it freaking cement?
Ready? Swing! Teamwork. Wow, you guys did it with the power of teamwork. What do you guys think it weighs?
50? Is that
Close?
50?
That's a good guess.
I'm thinking like, yeah, 55.
Okay, that's really close.
Do we get a no?
60 pounds.
Oh, I almost guessed 60.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. You guys spin my hat, so you got close enough. Yeah.
This is a lot heavier than I anticipated. Probably like 100 pounds.
Oh, that's a good guess.
You gonna tell me how much it actually weighs?
It's 60 pounds.
60
It's,
pounds?
yeah, do you want to try swinging it? We're going back to the caveman days. Oh. All right.
Can I like spin around?
Yeah. Okay. That's a method.
It's swinging me around now. Dude, what? It is big. Brenda's very big.
One. Oh, 1, 3. Ah, too low again. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Yes!
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Big Brenda. You want me to throw you the ball? All right, I'll give you a countdown. You got to get it moving. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I threw. What a grand finale.
Remember to check out the FlexiSpot link in the description and get a nice holiday gift for that special someone in your life. I wasn't kidding when I said you should watch the video twice. In fact, you should actually watch it 3 times. This will give me triple the watch time, and YouTube will pay me $1 quadrillion